Welcome back to the channel, guys, as again we're finally unveiling some of the major mysteries that we've had ever since The Force Awakens, and today we will be breaking down the mystery of more of the details on how Kylo Ren turned to the dark side of the Force, and the transformation from Ben Solo into the being that we know as Kylo Ren for most of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. All of the information that we're about to reveal, break down, and discuss comes from the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book, issue number 2. When we last left Kylo Ren at the end of issue number 1, he found himself on a mysterious brand new orb world where Snoke had seemingly taken over. We learn far more about this dome or spaceship in the second issue of The Rise of Kylo Ren, and explain its significance to Snoke here. In the second issue of this, we also learn a whole lot more about Snoke, but going back to the first issue, the massive reveal that Luke Skywalker gave Snoke his injuries was told to us, or at least that is what is inferred by Ben Solo, as he asks Snoke exactly what Luke has done to him that caused him these massive injuries. But back to the current issue at hand. In the opening of the issue, Snoke explains to a young Ben Solo that he's quite fond of the space station full of life, but yet now has great darkness within it. Darkness presumably brought there by Snoke himself. Snoke explains to Ben Solo that this place was created in the unknown regions of space as sort of an oasis for the light side of the Force, a beacon of the light side of the Force if you will, telling Ben Solo this: "I am very fond of it. The people who built it were trying to hold back the dark. That was the entire point, to create an oasis of light here in the Great Shadow." Snoke then reveals the ultimate fate of the individuals that created this oasis, showing him that they all perish, and teaching him the lesson of what happens when you attempt to hold back the dark, and hold the darkness at bay, whether that be in the unknown regions or within oneself. Ben Solo expresses a desire to venture to the Knights of Ren, with Snoke ultimately agreeing, saying that that would be a wise stop on his journey, and a wise stop to free him from the chains that have been put on him by Luke Skywalker, or at least the perceived chains. Snoke warns Ben Solo, though, that the Knights of Ren will not be accepting of Ben Solo Jedi Knight to be, and that the Knights of Ren may not be interested in him because of his light side training under a Jedi Master. In response, Ben Solo says that he hates that name. Ben was a name given to him after a Jedi Master that may have been significant in the decades earlier, but one that Ben himself never knew. Ben says that everybody expects him to be Obi-Wan, a Jedi that he has never personally met or interacted with once, which is actually quite the significant reveal, telling us that Ben Solo has not communed with Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost, and has likely never communed with any Force Ghost at all. Why this is, I do not know, but I hope is revealed over the course of the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. Ben Solo goes on to explain that even the name Solo is false, that it was never even his father's real name, that it was one he simply adopted when he was all alone in the galaxy. Essentially, Ben Solo is getting to the point that his entire life has been a lie. The Jedi, even his name, a complete fabrication of who everybody else wants him to become, but who he is not. A transmission is then sent to Snoke by a General Hux, as Ben Solo appears to be perplexed, believing he to be one of the only friends of the Supreme Leader. Snoke, though, brushes off this Hux, telling Ben Solo that they will speak no more of lies, but that Ben Solo is not Snoke's only friend in this wide galaxy. Snoke then goes on to teach Ben Solo to look for his true name, look for his name in the dark side of the Force, and a name that the Knights of Ren will give him. Snoke tells Ben Solo that it is the way of the dark side, that when one embraces the dark side to their fullest extent, their true name is finally uncovered to them, something that we knew happened with his grandfather Darth Vader, when Darth Sidious reached into the depths of the dark side of the Force, and the name Vader was gifted to him by the Force itself. So will Ben Solo have to reach within his own soul to find the name of Kylo Ren. Snoke then goes on to reveal that he was not born Snoke, but that he became Snoke, an obvious revelation that Snoke has been a puppet this entire time, a puppet for Darth Sidious. Ben Solo admits that he did hear a name when he was a child, but he is not sure what it means, and that it may have been foolish. Snoke goes on to prod Ben Solo, saying that that is why it is correct. Children's thoughts are pure. They do not practice self-deception. They are who they are. And when you called yourself by that new name, you saw the truth. It represents what you want to do on a deep level, the part of yourself that you want to cut away, the part you will want to kill. Snoke then tells Ben Solo that perhaps one day he will know that name, and so will the galaxy. Snoke then sends Ben Solo on his way to locate the Knights of Ren, telling him that that is a task on his own, but that he will know where to look. as the opening of the comic book comes to a close. But this is essentially some of Ben Solo's first steps towards the dark side of the Force, and the great manipulation from Snoke. How he manipulated Ben Solo into thinking that his name was a complete and utter lie, and how the name that the dark side of the Force will give him is his true identity, that he is sick of living as legends, and desires to become his own being in the Force, no matter what aspect of the Force. But what are your guys' thoughts on this, and some of Ben Solo's first steps and manipulation from Snoke? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.